you feel stuck? Like you've been told to just work harder, put in more hours, but you're just not seeing the results you want? Well, what if the secret to getting ahead isn't about grinding more, but about thinking completely differently? Today, we are cracking open the playbook that the top 1% use to get ahead of everyone else.
And this is the reality check, right? We all know people who work their tails off but are still spinning their wheels. So why is that? It's because hard work, by itself, just isn't the main thing. The real difference between the 1% and the 99% is a system, a totally different way of thinking and acting.
So what is this system? What's the secret sauce? Well, it's a powerful mix of three things: insane discipline, a super clear vision, and something most people totally miss: emotional mastery. This is the playbook we're about to break down for you, and it all starts with a huge shift in your mindset. Okay, first things first. Before you can build a skyscraper, you've got to pour a solid foundation, right? If you want a life that stands out from the crowd, you need a mindset that's just as different. And that means you have to stop thinking about tomorrow and start thinking about the next decade.
And just look at the difference here. It is night and day. The 99% crowd, well, they're kind of stuck in this loop of instant gratification. Scrolling social media, talking a big game, always looking for what feels good right now. It's all reactive. The 1% mindset, on the other hand, is a conscious choice to move differently, to be proactive, to play the long game. Every single decision they make today is like laying a brick for the incredible life they're building 10 years from now.
Okay, now it's your turn. And I mean, really, take a minute with these. Don't just gloss over them. Where do you honestly want to be in 10 years? Dream big. Then, let's get real. What does that future version of you do every day? What are their habits? And maybe the most important question, what are you doing right now that's getting in the way? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's just about getting honest.
All right, let's dive into the first pillar of this system: outwork everyone. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, you just said it's not about working harder. And you're absolutely right. This isn't about working 18-hour days until you burn out. Nope, this is about working smarter and with a level of focus most people can't even imagine.
This right here, this is the secret sauce. It's called intentional intensity. Studies show that in a normal 8-hour workday, most people are only truly productive for a couple of hours, tops. So instead of trying to find more hours, what if you could just make the hours you already have like 10 times more powerful? That's what this is all about. So how do you actually do this? It boils down to two simple, non-negotiable steps. First, you have to schedule deep work. I'm talking 2 hours every single day where you are completely unreachable. Phone off, notifications off. This is when you do the big stuff that actually moves you forward. Second, you stack your wins before the sun comes up. That means going to bed earlier so you can get up earlier. That quiet time before the world starts screaming for your attention, that is your golden hour.
Okay, now we're getting into what might be the toughest, but honestly the most life-changing part of this whole playbook. Out-heal yourself. If you've ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels no matter how hard you try, this is probably why. It's not about what you're doing, it's about the baggage you're carrying. Man, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? You can have the perfect strategy, you can work harder than anyone else, but if you're dragging around a bunch of unprocessed pain, it's like trying to run a marathon with a 500-pound weight chained to your ankle. You might be moving, but you're not getting anywhere fast. A lot of people don't have a discipline problem. They have a wound that's still open. And this is the big mindset shift you have to make. All those things we do that hold us back, procrastination, overthinking, you name it, they aren't the real problem. They're just the symptoms. The root cause is usually buried way deeper. Let me show you what I mean. Think about it like this. You might tell yourself, I just need to stop procrastinating. But what if that procrastination is actually your brain's way of protecting you? If, as a kid, the only time you got praise was when you were perfect, your brain learned that anything less than perfect is dangerous. So now you put things off to avoid the chance of being judged for something that isn't perfect. Or how about overthinking? Same deal. Maybe you're not actually indecisive. Maybe you're overthinking every little choice because when you were younger, making the wrong move meant getting in trouble or having a parent pull away from you emotionally. So your brain learned to analyze everything to death just to keep you safe. You see? The behavior is just a symptom of a much older wound.
And look, this is so important to get. What happened to you back then, that was not your fault. But letting it control your future, well, healing that is now your responsibility. It means taking total ownership of your triggers, your stories, and that little voice in your head that's been running the show for way too long.
So where do you even start with something that big?
It's actually simpler than you think. You just start by asking yourself this one powerful question. What am I avoiding feeling right now? When you can name that feeling, sadness, fear, anger, and just let yourself feel it for a minute without judging it, you start to take its power away. You don't have to fix it, just feel it.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the pillar that ties it all together. Outlast the crowd. This is all about mastering the art of consistency, especially when things get repetitive and, let's just be honest, really boring. You know, anyone can be motivated when something is shiny and new, but real success isn't built in those exciting, flashy moments. It's forged in the boring, day-in, day-out repetition. The 1%, they expect it to get boring. They expect it to be a grind, and they just keep showing up anyway. That right there is the separate.
So we have to completely change how we think about boredom. It's not a sign that you should quit, it's actually a sign that you're on the right path. It's like you're mining for gold. You gotta swing that pickaxe at boring old rock 1,000 times before you finally hit that vein of gold. The repetition, the boredom is the whole point. It's the process.
So how do you actually build this kind of consistency? It's pretty simple, actually. First, pick just 1 or 2 small habits, non-negotiables, that you know would change your life if you did them every day. Make them so small you can't say no. Then, your only job is to not break the chain. Do them every single day for a year. Put an X on a calendar, just don't break the chain.
And that really gets to the heart of this entire playbook, you know? This isn't really about hitting one specific goal, it's about building an identity. The fastest way to get the life you want is to start becoming the type of person who deserves that life. A person who shows up no matter what. A person who does the deep work, heals their stuff, and just keeps going.
So, as we finish up here, I want to leave you with this one thought. A year from now, you can be in the exact same spot you're in today, or you can be somebody completely different. The choice is yours. If you really embrace this playbook, the intentional work, the deep healing, and the relentless consistency, who will you become in 365 days?